Hey, everybody. That was a quick intro.
I know, right? It was like, did we skip something? I don't think we
No,
did.
that was, we were just starting to get into it.
I
Um,
know.
well,
What did we miss?
we're kind of not very, not that we're not on, but we have a really good friend with us today, so we're a little bit more
Oh,
relaxed.
yes.
Because usually we have people that we don't know or people we've just seen their work, and so today um, we have one of our favorite artisans. Um, It's a, by the way, it's having fun with J and J. I'm Jay and she's Jay, and we're all Jays except for David. But we met David last year. Um, he's an embroidery artist, but he's much more than that. He really has an amazing talent, and I don't. We were just talking to him about
Hmm.
just don't know anybody like him. We've never met anybody that does this kind of artwork.
And I
He's,
had to pay her a lot of money for her to say that.
I did cha-ching, cha-ching.
Oh my goodness.
So
That's it.
he was kind enough to come back on our show. And Jeanette's got this background behind me too. It's like
Yes.
it's so beachy, but I'm kind of thinking that the minnow is going to come behind me, and Skipper and Gilligan are going to get off and hit the beach and stuff. So I should have worn my my creative spirit beach attire, but I'm wearing my black today.
I know, right? I'm right here saying, oh, we look fabulous. We're on
Yeah,
the beach.
she's ready for the beach, and I'm in the office working, and she's on the beach. That's how it works. But anyway, David, welcome, welcome, welcome. I've been looking at your new stuff, and I'm going to send it over to Jeanette because I'm going to get set up so I can put it on screen for everybody. So go ahead, take it away, Miss Jeanette.
Oh my gosh, we love David. He's been with us from the beginning, also one of our OGs, original gangsters here on TV, and he'll be back with us on TV as well. I'm so excited. But he has been all over the place ever since that first show. He has been blowing up. I'm like, what on earth? I said, David, what you been up to these days? Start from the time we left you, because it's like, what on earth? You've been all over the place. And he's been very kind to send us the news articles, the magazines, the pictures, and everything. Just he's blowing up. I mean, you're gonna be a millionaire by the time you hit 90.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people have been asking how I am getting into these different venues and that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's really very simple. I mean, whenever I see a call for artists, and it doesn't matter where they are, I apply. And
Hey.
I'm famous in Canada, uh, and well, I mean, I was just showing Jeanette. Um, I've gotten into probably, I want to say, 6 different magazines, and this is one of my one of you know one of my,
Jenny, bring up change the frame. Stay right there. Jenny, change the frame.
Yep.
Hold on. You got it?
Yeah. Where is it?
I got it.
There it is.
Okay. Okay.
So that's not the little boy. This is the little boy. No, that's one of your older ones.
well, no, that's actually
There
one
it
of my
is.
that's actually one of my newer ones.
That's the
And
new one.
I'm confusing some of the people because it's another boy in the tree.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's okay. But
But
the one
it's a little bit different. There's some people underneath. Um, the boy is sitting differently. I really liked that boy in the tree,
Mhm.
and so I wanted to make another similar type piece. So that's why I try and I try and do almost like a series on one subject matter. So
Mm-hmm.
4 pieces. So my all my whale pieces are gone right now, but I've made new pieces of the boy in the tree.
This one is fun. This is a new one. So
Yeah.
just to give a little background.
Jenny, hit the plus sign. I want you to bring it up a little because that is amazing. If you look at the stitch, if you press the plus sign to bring it closer, you'll see that. You look at the stitches. Look at that. Look at the stitches.
So,
Oh my gosh.
David just started this around COVID time. So he hasn't been doing this very long.
No.
And
Right.
this is a long stitch. If anybody does any kind of sewing or embroidery or needlework, he works strictly with long stitches. So there's no other really type of embroidery has a couple other things.
Well, I've been told there's like 150 different stitches that I could use.
Mhm.
Yes.
I use a total of 3.
Yes, and that's what
Right.
makes it unique. Because I know there's a lot of embroidery people out there, and there's so many different things you can do with the thread. But I've never seen it. The colors, the shading, it's like a painting. So if you go back, don't make it any smaller, but you can't see the stitches really. It looks just like he painted it.
Paint it right.
Yeah. And that kind of was the intention when I started. I wanted to make it so that as people, if I'm showing right now, I've got a piece in the New Bedford Art Museum, and I've got another 4 pieces in Gallery X in New Bedford. And as people walk by, and you always hear them say,
That is
"Oh,
beautiful.
nice painting," and
Yeah.
I kind of have to come on back. It's not a painting, and then
That's when people get like, what?
yeah, I enjoy, as you can tell, I have a hard time speaking, with people. I'm very shy, and
No, you're not, David. Not with us. You're not shy.
So like
You're making a joke.
I actually get to talk with the people, and
You're cracking jokes.
You have to look at this one. It's so interesting. So this
that's
guy,
the last one.
This guy looks to me like he's a fisherman, like Cape Cod, and he's just come off of the boat.
That was exactly.
The sun is coming down, and you see the sun come through the window, but it's also coming through the glass of the drink he's drinking.
Well, he said that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And so we always look at things and we see how beautiful, but when you start taking it apart and looking at each section,
yes, like zoom in on the beer.
He look upset. He just looks tired. Yeah. He sat down. He's gonna have a drink, and the sun's going down.
Zoom in on the beer. I want to see how he did that. I mean, it is awesome.
It's not. I keep telling people, this isn't rocket science. It's really.
It's good therapy, though.
It's the direction of the thread. It's the colors.
But I can't do that. So it is a gift.
David, look inside here. That it's hard because when you get closer, and the thing is, he's doing it up close, so you got to get back to get a perspective. But you see that the light coming in, and it's breaking on the inside of his sleeve right here, so it's showing the light.
So cool.
There's a light here, there's light here, and then it's really bright here because that's where the sun is. Yeah. So the shading here's a little area right here where the glass is.
The picture that you are starting with actually gives you all of those details.
Yeah, but you got to pick that up with thread.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. You have to pick it up with the thread, and
It's not easy. I mean,
there's
for
a
you,
lot of
it's easy. For
there,
us, if I was to try that, it'll come out like a spaghetti.
you'd be perfect.
No, it would
I
not.
know you'd be perfect.
No, I'm still working on something I started 15 years ago, and it's still there.
No. That's the stuff that, because now, last time we spoke, I was probably spending 20-25 hours on a picture.
Right.
Now I'm spending closer to 60
Oh, because you're
hours
good.
on the
Wow.
picture. So now I'm
This would be
spending,
I'm sorry, this
more.
would be such a great puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Um,
because of the green. Like, can you imagine doing that as a 1,000-piece puzzle? Trying to
Mm-hmm.
put it together.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't then. Mm-mm. Nope.
Just you'd have to check how each thread was laid. So
Yeah.
you see how he did the trees where the thread is not straight.
Yeah.
It's crisscross.
It's a crisscross situation. That's how, but picture yourself sitting in your yard looking at a tree, that's inside your yard. You can't see every individual leaf. You have to, everything is blending together. And so that's why I started doing my leaves and my forests and my grass and that stuff that
I
way.
love the tree. So
This one is so
beautiful.
beautiful too, with like the blue of the water
Yeah.
Mhm.
just pops out. Here's the sun. I mean, are the museums that do textiles, are they responding to you?
The museums that do textiles. The quick answer on that so far has been no. Just basically, I've sent some files and that stuff to them, and I've never heard back.
Mhm.
But what's been happening, and I sent you I'm getting more responses from Europe. I've been in shows in Venice and in Paris,
Oh,
in
we got a traveling man
Spain.
here.
Well, the thing is, I've sent pieces overseas so that they can display them there. But recently there's been a lot of different shows that have, basically they take your files that you send, like the files that I sent you,
Mhm.
and they have electronic different shows. So they, basically they show everything that goes on when you're there physically still goes on just with the files. And I've actually won, 3 of those. I want to say possibly 4.
Wow.
They have
Now,
first
Jenny,
place.
put us on the side and make him big because I want to see what he's going to show us right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. David, behind you, and there
Yes.
was the magazine that you were holding up. I want to
Yes.
see that and show us, bring it up closer and tell us about that. Tell us
Do you
what,
want to see this piece
yeah,
or
or whatever piece you want. The
yeah?
one in the magazine, whatever.
Well,
Because,
I
I
mean,
mean, he's got a different setup than last time. Remember the first time he was so shy?
I
Yeah,
mean
look at it. That's the
that
actual size.
that's it's these are 16 by 16. Is
Okay.
mostly what I've been doing lately.
Okay. You
Um,
like the 16 by 16?
yeah, I've
And
I've
what?
I've been doing 16 by 16, 18 by 18. Um, I was asked to do one show yesterday in Paris, but they want all small pieces, like 3 by
Okay.
3.
Oh my gosh, 3x3s.
Yeah,
Those are
Yeah, that's little. That's like that.
yeah.
exactly. And I haven't really.
That was hard to see. You're gonna have to be like a magnifying glass. like a clockmaker. You have to be in there going like that. That's little.
That's
Yeah,
like,
that's the one that you like.
oh, I love that.
Oh wow. Is that a 16 by 16?
Six,
This one's I would say 12
eight.
by 18.
12 by
Yeah,
18.
that's
So
just amazing.
That I would hang that up. I would. And I sure would. You should
The,
sell
the
prints.
reason why the reason why I ask is I have been to a few museums that concentrate on textiles.
yeah,
They kind of tie them in culturally, um, but you were working with a museum in Washington, correct?
yeah, the Smithsonian.
With yeah,
I two things on my Smithsonian journey. Um, I got, I same thing in the call for artists. I put in, a couple of pieces, and then I got a letter from them uh, back in October, basically saying, you've been accepted to be in the show, and this was, last year,
Wow.
and I was excited,
Mm-hmm.
and then I looked at the date that was, and the show had just been completed. I want to say like 3 months earlier.
Mm.
So I called them up and explained everything. I said I just got the email 5 minutes ago,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if there's a mix up on the dates, or but the date that you're telling me has already passed. So they
Mm.
looked it up, and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, there must have been a mistake. This was for the show that went through, um, and but you can be, you just have to send something in for the
Wow, look at the lioness. Love it.
this
yeah.
a vid- this is
Those,
his.
those were the majority of my older stuff.
Yep,
Which already sold.
yeah. I wanted to bring it in because um, that
There's
one
the
I love.
whale.
And I can
This one I love.
I,
This
I
one, and this the bird is just
what I do different.
There's a lot of color in that bird. I love it.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful bird. How big is that one?
that one again is about 12 by 16.
And that one
Something
sold
in
already
there.
too, right?
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
All my whale pictures have gone.
What's the average selling price on your art? What are they valued
Well,
at?
that's the other thing that was kind of funny during this
Oh,
whole
look.
um, journey. My wife still thinks they're worth about $25 a piece. That they're not that. And
Oh
yeah,
my.
love my wife. We've been married 47 years,
All
uh,
right.
but she still can't quite understand why everybody is excited over the stuff that I do. But I've sold a total of 7 pieces
Look, I like that one.
in the past
Love
year.
the man at the beach.
Yeah, and so I sold like 6 of the 7. I sold for $500 a piece.
Okay.
One of them I actually got 12.50.
Mm-hmm.
The now with getting all the recognition that I'm getting overseas, and I've been putting them out like at 2,500. I have not sold anything for 2,500, and who knows if I ever will. But
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to the point now where, and I think I always have been. I do it to make myself happy. I'm not I'm not necessarily doing it that I have to sell anything.
Mm-hmm.
to survive. So, you know, but I love getting the recognition. I love getting the awards that I'm getting because like I said,
Mm.
I'm hearing from different curators at different um, museums literally around the world, and
So you gotta look at this. The feathers on this peacock.
the peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's done a crosshatch kind of thing to give it the feathers in between, and then
Right.
these are the straight stitch with the eye. So yeah, they really are stunning, David. I mean, I love color and I love to see people. Color is not an easy thing to do, um, and craftspeople have to have that in their repertory. They're not good at color,
yeah,
and even if you're looking at something, a lot of people can't match the colors.
Mm-hmm. I have
Um,
a hard time, even when
so
the colors are on the picture.
yeah, so it's
It's
really
not
difficult.
easy, David.
yeah,
I know that for you it's easy, but it's not easy. Believe me, I've
yeah,
tried. I've tried with the ones at Dollar Tree.
yeah.
You go over there and you just get a little stitch. I give up about halfway through. I go, I'm done. I'm not that
I
person.
I did a there's a local radio host, and he does a um, like every 2 weeks a TV show where he has he calls it almost like a Johnny Carson
Uh
type
huh.
situation.
Uh huh.
He does a monologue at the beginning of the show. He's got a comedian that comes in, a singer that comes in, and then a person of interest. And I was his person of interest,
Wow. When was this?
this was, I want to say, about 3 months ago,
We
and
need that footage so we could
which
put you
is
on.
yeah, I, yeah,
Right.
I have it, so I can send it to you. Uh,
Okay.
but if you go on YouTube and just put, um, I tell you, senility is setting in. Um, I can't think of his name right now. Paul
Oh,
Santos. Paul Santos.
Paul
So
Santos.
all you have to do is put in David Poyant on Paul Santos show,
Okay, Jenny will do
and,
it. She can
and
find anything.
yeah,
She can
and
find a
and it
needle in a haystack.
it, it, it comes right up.
Yep.
But he asked me, we were talking about the colors on it and all that stuff, and he had asked me if you know, if how often do I have to take something apart to change the colors and that stuff.
Mm.
And I told him I don't think I've ever taken anything apart because when I'm working on it, and let's just say that I want to change the color or and all that stuff, most of the time I'll just kind of stitch over it
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. But I don't take anything apart. I mean, it's just a matter of and sometimes I want to blend the colors in, so that can be a base color that I can add something else to, and it gives it a completely different look. And so it's I think people concentrate too much on that stuff
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, it's not it's not a mistake. Nothing is a mistake
Yep, I
on
learned that. Yep.
on any of the art pieces and
Yeah.
that stuff.
Nothing's a
It,
mistake. It's just an improvement.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you can change whatever you want. If you as the artist don't like what you're doing, that's something completely different. But like I said, on my pieces and that stuff, um, this is this is one that I'm working on right now.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
can tell. It's only halfway done.
yeah,
The back is what mine would look like.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
yeah, that's
well,
exactly right.
you know, but the thing is, like
Put him big, Jenny.
all the tree and that stuff is done. The boy is done, and all that stuff. But this part here is pretty much done.
So
But like,
you have different segments on the boy on the tree, don't you?
yes, yeah, yeah. I've got
So why does it have to be a boy on a tree? Why not a girl on a tree?
Because he's a boy.
it can be a girl in the tree.
But most
Yeah,
I see boys
no,
on the tree.
it's
What happened to
just
girl on the tree?
the very first one that I did
Uh-huh.
just happened to be a boy,
Right.
and so
I'm not finding this. Is it
and
Paul Santos?
it's a what?
Is it Paul Santos?
Paul,
Yeah, Paul
Paul Santos, Santos,
Yes.
with David Poyant. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
But so David, where can people find your stuff besides your website? Do you have like a little local place?
Not really.
Okay.
Where are they finding you to be? Okay, you've been in magazines. You've been on people's shows for interviews.
Yeah.
You're in museums, but nobody can find you. How is that happening?
Like I said, at the Gallery X in New Bedford, I've got 5 pieces right now at Gallery X. The stuff that's at the New Bedford Art Museum, they don't sell the pieces over there. So somebody would have to actually go in and get I've got some business cards and that stuff there.
We talked about this before. Why aren't you doing a book, a coffee table book with your stuff?
Because I want to do that. That's one of the things that was on my what
I found Paul Santos' show.
Yeah.
I found his show, but I'm looking for your show.
Usually if you just put with David Poyant, it comes up.
Okay.
But yes, I want to do I think, I don't know if it was around the time that I was on the show the last time. I have found out that I am dyslexic. So for me, anything that has to do with writing or that stuff, I've always had, even as a child, but I never knew the reason behind it. With AI, since I've started to use AI, that's when I basically found out that that I was dyslexic.
I found you though with Art Talks. Art Talks, David Poyant crafting new chapter with thread painting. New Bedford Light.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That New Bedford Light did a story with me.
Hold on, let me share this with Jenny.
Well, David, first of all, that's an interesting thing. I wonder if the dyslexia actually helps you with your threading. Our brains are marvelous things.
Yeah.
And
well, I've been thrilled since actually since I found out about it. I'm not afraid to do. I did a book on embroidery and that stuff when just before I had one of the shows in Fall River. Mm-hmm. And it probably like a 50-page book with my background and how I do pieces and all that stuff. And I think I told you I'm number 10 out of 11 kids.
Right.
So I sent the book to my brothers and sisters, and I get a phone call from one of my sisters, and she says, "There is no way that you wrote this book." She says, "Okay, where did you come up with?" She said, "Who did the writing for it?" And I said, "Well, actually, because even with AI, you're doing the writing of the book. You're taking the information and you're putting it in, and it's correcting everything on it. So now I'm actually capable of coming up with something that actually sounds coherent." And
wow,
not my St. Anthony school education. That's
Well, what I see this is when if you're in a museum already,
yeah,
they always have stores inside the museums, and this would be a really beautiful
print
book.
too.
Like I see it glossy, an explanation of the picture, a bio of you, for what we call coffee table books.
Yeah.
Um,
and I've actually lost weight since that.
Oh, so I like how he says that. But this shows you working. So we wanted to show people that you're working. This is the New Bedford Light article.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like the fact that, it's funny, David. I talk about this all the time because people that are, quote, educated out of any kind of higher, college, university, they always seem just really surprised that anybody who isn't classically trained can.
I've had a lot of that, and that was I finally kind of got past that part, but especially like in the beginning, I'd have people that loved my stuff, and that, but when they found out that I didn't have the
credentials,
or that I was using AI in any aspect of it, because especially now I'm using AI to generate the picture.
And so I keep telling people, you're actually telling them what your vision is, and then the AI will create the picture, but you do the work by hand.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And like I said, I've been not invited to show my my pieces in a few different things because they didn't like the fact that I was using AI. And
we'll come back to that topic, David. We're gonna go ahead and go into a few commercials right here because we got to continue this on the way back, because I could see that as a conversation starter that we're gonna about to hit some heads here and turn some feathers around. So we're gonna go ahead and keep on. So we'll be right back after these commercials.
Okay.
is an exciting time. Your home will be the most important and consequential purchase you'll ever make. But the process can be confusing and overwhelming. You've found the perfect house and done the due diligence to make sure the house is in great shape. But when it comes to ensuring your property is protected from any unforeseen conditions, are you able to see the whole picture? So before you sign your closing documents, or you're handed the keys to the front door, get peace of mind with Ace Solutions Title Group and know you and your property are protected. Make sure the title company that you use is the best in the business, to ensure your home is researched and recorded in your name. Ace Solutions Title Group is the best in the business. Contact us today. We are family owned and operated. They will make your closing transaction smooth and seamless, with the highest priority of protecting the legal status of your home. Hassle-free, fully online closings. Professionalism and 20 years experience. Customer service is of the highest priority. We offer title insurance and peace of mind. An extensive referral network for all things real estate. Remote online notary services. And we are licensed in 5 states. Let us bring security and confidence into your home buying process. Ace Solutions Title Group. Contact us for more information. We look forward to working with you.
Ah, that was
I
great.
love watching our commercials.
I do too. I could keep playing them, but yeah. But we were getting, before we left on commercial, we were getting into the topic how people are rejecting you because you actually, for the template of your needle, you do AI. And you know what, with everybody doing AI for everything, that seems minute compare of the needlework. That's what they need to be thinking. The needlework of what you do on top of that is the art, not the fact that you have to tell it what to do, because nobody's an artist. I mean, to do the outline, you have to be a real artist to do an outline. So if you
Well,
have an AI that puts it on print cloth for you and then you sew it, that's the art. That's patience. And
yeah,
the
well, I mean,
colors, that's just the art.
the thing is, like, especially in the beginning, I would go to these different studios and, uh, like I said, I've never had anybody that, came up and said that the work was no good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, like I said, the reaction, afterwards when they found out that I was, and at the very beginning, I wasn't using AI. There was a website called Unsplash that are, they're photographers from all over the world, and they give you free access to their pictures.
Right.
So, I wasn't, so I was using Unsplash at the very beginning. And so they didn't like the fact that I wasn't, drawing my own pictures. And so I went up to Suzanne at the New Bedford Art Museum, and I said, okay, this is the kickback that I'm getting. Am I doing anything wrong? And she said, absolutely not. She says, basically everything that you were just saying is what she was saying.
Okay.
So she said, stop listening to these people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, she said, just keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she was, and basically it's, it's changed, everything, because I actually like, the look that I'm getting with my pieces now compared to what they were with using just the pictures from, from the photographers.
Mm-hmm.
I I like the different colors. And you can literally tell AI, exactly what you want.
What you have in your head.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
actually tell it.
I think the thing is that Jeanette and I go back and forth on AI. So AI is a tool.
Yeah.
Anytime you do needlepoint or any type of embroidery, very few people actually do it freehand, meaning they take a blank fabric and they work their thread.
Right.
Some people do it to a small degree, but you're taking a subject and you're saying, I want an apple tree with the sun shining and two little girls in sunflower hats.
Yep.
You're already setting the stage for what you see in your head.
Right.
So you're
Right.
not saying, I want Van Gogh's sunflowers, or I want Matisse, or I want,
Right.
You can do that.
You can, but
You
you're
can.
not. You're creating
Yeah.
your own.
Right.
Then on top of that,
Comes the hard part.
you're taking the thread and you're creating the texture, the depth, the shadowing, the perspective, and you're putting it in with a textile, which is a completely different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. The end piece isn't, what I start off with. That picture,
Right.
that fisherman picture, there was a lot of things inside there that I didn't like, that I tried to get AI to take it out of, and really it just kept on coming with, it wouldn't do it. But when I stitched it, I can stitch that stuff right out of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where your art comes in. Because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you made this like this, but I really wanted it, so I'm going to do it with my
You know
brain.
what? Can I just tell you, David, that if you actually became an instructor at a university, an art instructor, and you taught this, they would change their tune.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
there's a group of people that are very. My son went through this when he went to art school, and he got so. They so said, well, you have to be pure in your art, and you have to follow the masters, and you have to do. Okay, had the masters get to be masters? They didn't have a university. Like, they just have a gift, and you're just because you don't go to art school or have formal training does not mean you're not an artist.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
Yep.
museums should appreciate that, because many of them do cultural works from other countries and other cultures, and none of those people go to Paris or to Boston or to New York and learn how to do a, a, a project.
Right. And that's what they're getting mad at. Because
Yeah.
way back then, before technology, people used to do it. You know, they did it. Okay. That was okay. Okay. But now they're making it where you can actually learn. Okay. Give you an example. Me, I was heading into, I was deployed, and I was going into my thing, but I wanted to do something on my time off. A lot of people were doing their other thing, but I wanted to do something with my hands. I had that itch, right?
Right.
So I said, I want to paint. Don't know how, don't know nothing. I went to YouTube and I wrote, how do you paint a face? I taught myself. That same one painting that I did, that's how I knew that I was okay, because I sold it, the first painting overseas, $250 for a painting that I taught myself in, because I wanted to do something creative, and that's how my art came about.
Yeah.
So the fact that I didn't have to go to school to learn how to paint an eye, that
Yeah.
now is all over YouTube. If you put YouTube, how do you paint an eye? It'll show you how to paint an eye, a realistic one. How do you do this? How do you do that? So the universities, to me, and again, this is my opinion. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to like it. I'm just telling you what I know.
Yeah.
If YouTube can teach it for free, that's what they're getting mad at.
Yeah.
Okay, because I could make, I can just tell AI, make me a certificate from YouTube University that I finished art school, and I'll print it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, finally, Suzanne basically just told me that, she says you're probably 10 years ahead of, she says, and within the next 10 years, everybody's going to be doing what I'm doing.
That's right.
And
Well,
You
they're
just
going
did
to
it
try.
first.
This is where the rubber meets the road. They're going to try.
yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to be the same.
No, and that's good. That's
It
actually
is good.
that's a good thing. Well, at the last show that we just had at Gallery X, the young kid came in, and he's an artist. I don't think he was much more than 17, 18 years old, but he was showing me, so he was fascinated. I have the peacock over there, and he was fascinated with the peacock, and I kept, kept telling, I said, with what I see in the pieces that you're doing, and he was very detailed orientated and all that stuff. I said, you can do this, and and just the fact that he had somebody that he thought was, at a different level, than him, telling him that, you can do this, kind of changed his whole attitude, as to what he was going to.
That's
You get
exactly
too many
right.
people that shut you down as fast as they can.
They look, the scholars will do that, okay? And what you have to do is say, you know what? You just need validation to keep going.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. people, unfortunately, you have people who are jealous that didn't think of it first.
Yeah.
And they're going to go and tell you, oh, that's no good. But yet behind your back, they're going to try to do it.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You got a gift. You can teach it. You can actually get paid to teach this. Okay. And so you have something that now they're going to see like, oh my gosh, it's like your wife said, you're way ahead of the game. And they're going to be doing it right now. They're frowning upon it like everything else. People don't, I've learned the hard way that people don't like change.
Yeah.
You change something, somebody comes up with something, they don't like it. You know, I can say I'm one of those person when it came to the phone. You know, they made one little change. Why they have to do that for? You know, I do it all the time. But here it is. You already ahead of the game. So what now we're gonna do is we're so happy you're back with the Creative Spirit channel because we're gonna show you one day. We're gonna get ready to do a show with him, and he's gonna be showing you how he does it. So I can't wait. I can't wait to plan that and have it that we're gonna have you doing your work and you can actually, you know, be yourself. I already have the whole production in my brain. Jenny,
It's funny because a lot of people
Jenny right now. Anyway,
you know, a lot of people will ask me, you know, what does it take to, you know, to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And I tell them it's Netflix and Blackberry brandy. That's all. That's all
that
you need.
is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll be watching it. Maybe they'll be watching the Creative Spirit channel while they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
So actually, when we put the channel together, I'll have a bottle of Blackberry brandy right by the chair.
We'll change it G to PG. It's okay.
Yeah.
That is actually
you know, you know, like I said, I'm still having fun with it.
And you know what? That's all that counts.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. As long as it helps you in your mental state and you're having fun with it, that's all that counts. With that said, I'm going to go into today's verse because it happens to be matching today. And it's facing the cost of self-discipline. Okay? Because what you had when you started this after you say your mom passed away, right?
Well, my mother actually passed away 45 years ago. But that was one of my memories of my mother is her sitting in her chair and basically doing this. She was always either knitting or embroidering or, you know, crossing. I mean, she was always doing something.
Right.
She was doing that and watching Johnny Carson.
There she goes.
So instead of Johnny Carson, I watched Netflix.
But it still took some type of self-discipline for you to do that.
Yeah.
It took, like, I'm going to go ahead. You don't say, well, let me just do it because I have to. No, you do it because you say, hey, let me just go ahead and take time and do another one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it says, rejoice and exalt in hope. Be steadfast, patient, because you take a lot of patience to do that. In suffering and tribulation, be constant in prayer. Okay, that comes from Romans 12:12. But as Christians, many of us have the idea that everything in our lives should be perfect simply because we are Christians. But Jesus clearly warned us, in the world we have tribulation and trials and distress and frustrations. John 16:33. Jesus said we would have to deal with worldly troubles. These things are part of life that we must all face when we lay down our selfish desires to follow him. The Apostle Paul wrote, but I buffet my body, right? And she wrote something here, and subdue it. And that comes from Corinthians 9:27. When she does those, I don't like it. Okay, Paul is speaking here about self-discipline. Being self-disciplined means laying down our sinful desires and doing the right thing by God's grace, no matter what the cost. It's not always easy. Dying to self will bring necessary suffering. But remember, even in the face of our suffering, there is hope. For Christ has overcome the world, and Paul said we can rejoice and exult in hope. But steadfast and patience in suffering and tribulation will be a constant in prayer. But now I put it in the sense of what we do, okay? Because when I read the word, it has to do with being a Christian. But I also use it for our art and people who are artists. This is self-patience. What you do is a lot. It takes a lot of patience. Because if I was to wanting to do that, I'm telling you, it won't happen. Not everybody has patience to sit down with a needle in front of a TV and do this. I'm telling you, not everybody has that gift. I don't. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So Jenny, don't even look at me for doing it. Okay. All right. So
I'll get you embroidering.
no,
It's
don't you dare. I have one. I told you it's 15 years old and I'm just doing names. It's still there. Okay. So then you have the patience and then you think about why you started it. Okay. Then you think about where you can go because when you first started this, did you think it was going to turn into a business?
Did I think it was going to turn into what?
A business.
Oh no. And
See?
and
Nobody.
I keep, my wife keeps telling me that, this is a hobby. It's not a business.
Oh,
So,
that's Jenny's curse word right there. Hobby. Ooh, ooh.
yeah.
She don't like
Not
that word.
when you have the gift that you have.
Yeah.
It's the word business is not a dirty word.
Yeah.
It's a goal that you're able to have a product or a creation that is so amazing. See, I embroider, so I know what it's about.
Thank you.
The picking the right color, the thread, looking at it, making a mistake, knowing you're going to have to yank it because it's not the right thing, or making a change. It's art, and it's a craft. It's something that during the 1700s, 1800s, it was, if you were an embroiderer like that, you had a job for life, and you were paid very well because they like their clothes to be done beautifully.
Well,
So,
that's actually another thing that's been coming up lately. I've had a couple of people ask me if I would do like the back of their jacket or.
That is beautiful.
Harley Davidson, baby.
I've been thinking about it, and I had one guy, at the last meeting that we had at Gallery X, he actually brought his vest that that he wants to have done, and I told him, I said, I've never done it before, but it was the same thing with all my animals and that stuff in the beginning.
Right.
The person at the zoo asked me, can you do animals? And I told her the same thing. I've never done an animal before, but get me a picture. Let me see what I can do.
Look, next thing you're gonna see his shirts for sale because they
I
have
know.
pictures.
I know, right?
But again, the question is, what can you sell it for? That's the problem. If I spend 60 hours, which I could probably see myself spending 60 hours, doing the back of a jacket, because I wouldn't just do a small patch. I would want to do the whole.
Oh wow,
the whole
that's
thing.
like a canvas. It's like a canvas,
that becomes your canvas, and I've kind of figured out how to do it.
Oh,
I haven't given it a try yet, because I've got these other pieces that I want to finish first. But so that's that's, and then you watch PBS, and they've actually had shows on people that embroidered the dresses and the clothes for royalty.
I remember that.
And I keep saying, I can do that. I know I can do that.
Brain. He got the fever now.
Yeah.
Well, it has come to that time that we have to say goodbye.
Okay. I truly appreciate this.
We love having you, David. We always love to see what you're up to.
And David, don't go away. Stay backstage. We'll come back and talk to you. So don't leave.
And I'm gonna run, but you two are gonna yak.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to. But thanks so much, David, and we look forward to having you on the channel.
Yes. And I'll go ahead and show one more commercial and then we'll call it quits. But David, don't go nowhere. We'll be back. And thank you. Please join us next week for another fabulous guest at
Yep.
Having Fun with J&J with Jeanette and Jenny. And we'll see you next week.
Right back.
All set. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
That's right.
Stars are shining, ooh yeah. Feel the beat, feel the glow. Lost in your eyes, never letting go, letting